Good evening. We are going to call this November 1st City Council meeting to order. If you will, please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Call the roll, please.
Councilmember Phelan.
Here.
Parker.
Present.
Kling.
Here.
Schroeder. Present. Southall. Here. Marchant.
Present.
Mayor Pepper.
Here. Thank you. On to public comment. This is our time in our agenda. If you'd like to talk about anything not on our agenda, please come forward. You can have a few minutes to state your claim. And if it's about something on the agenda, when we get to that time, you can speak at that point. Anybody here wishing to speak about something?
Mayor, I have something.
Okay, please come forward.
How nervous people this guy. Jackie?
Oh, no.
This isn't a model. Please join me.
Mayor, Council, thank you for having me. Mr. Waller. Prepared. As your time winds down here with the City of Indianola, Public Safety would like to thank you for your support during your tenure. You didn't know anything about this, did you? This is great. Early on in your time here, I know the police department came to you with a couple of major concerns. One of those was our antiquated radios, and the second was our staffing level. Both of these issues were addressed under your leadership, among other issues. On behalf of the police department, I'll speak for myself, then I'll let Greg speak. I want to thank you for supporting and taking the police department seriously, the issues of the police department especially. I hope the police department has not only met but surpassed your expectations as a professional and dedicated organization to the citizens of Indianola. Greg, you want my notes?
No. Yeah, I won't throw these to you. I can't. Brian, as Brian said, but the fire department wouldn't be where it's at without your guidance and your cooperation. And just your overall mannerism to come out and talk and communicate with everybody, all the department members, one-on-one. That was huge to them. And I don't think they had ever had that happen to them. So congratulations on your new endeavor, new job, responsibility. I'm sure you'll do a great job there. I know you'll have a good fire chief.
Thank you, guys.
So if you could
Come on up.
on behalf of public safety, I'm sure you're gonna hang this on the wall, Mary.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Thank heavens wasn't that modeling.
Thank you, chiefs. I love those kind of public comments. Appreciate it. Brian?
Yeah, well, thank you. That was very unexpected and very appreciated. And you guys are wonderful. And I think I speak for everybody that the dedication and selflessness that you guys have for this community is just incredible, and really appreciate it. And it's not possible without our elected officials and amazing team that we have here, especially old money bags. So, thank you. It means a lot. It really does. I do have two business related items. Jackie had sent out an email to the council with an added item. We did check with legal counsel to make sure that it was compliant with code. And that's number 5 under your consent, 5E5, approval of an amended liquor license application for Pete's Pizza to include an additional owner. This is allowed because we do have approval of applications on the agenda, so it complies with state code. This was added because, as I think everybody saw over the weekend, changing ownership with Pete's Pizza. So we needed to make sure that Corey was also listed on here. So that's one item on here that we wanted to point out. The other thing is that under the mayor's report, there are 3 applications of the Human Relations Commission that we're staff, myself, are recommending that be continued to a date certain. This was something that as I was going through the agenda, said go ahead and get it on, but we unfortunately didn't follow our established process. So that's my responsibility, my fault, and I'm sorry for that.
Thank you. Let's move into consent agenda. Is there anything that needs to get pulled before we get to a motion? How about a motion? Second. Questions, comments?
So my question is, you don't need to do anything with that then, do we?
Just
Under the mayor's report, do we need to make a motion to do that or not?
Can- Doug, was it continue? Do they have to make a?
Yeah, we'll make a motion to continue to date.
At that time, okay, so we don't need to worry about that with our.
And
with our
that's so
agenda.
then it can go through the
Okay.
the vetting process that's established by
Yep.
council policies.
Great question, John. Okay. Jackie, please.
Councilmember Schroeder.
Aye.
Southall.
Aye.
Marchant.
Aye.
Hewlin.
Aye.
Parker.
Aye.
Plain.
Aye.
Motion carries. On to council reports then. First one, treasurer's report. Doug Scholl, here he comes.
Thank you, Mayor. Council members, the report that should be in front of you is for the 3rd month of the 21-22 year ended September 30th of 2021. And the fund balances just have been for quite a while now, really, in my opinion, really strong. And maybe one thing that I would talk about is down under investments, we got some 42 million. And a year ago, we had 25 million. So how did we grow 17 million? Well, you look at the downtown square, streetscape, Hillcrest, K Street, and ARPA funds. That's where it all grew. And of course, you'll spend that money over time. But the interest rates are just about the same as they were last year. And that would be my report to you all.
Questions for? Doug?
Motion to approve the treasurer's report.
Second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you very much. Next item is EMS billing activity report for August and September 2021. Has that information in your packet? Is there a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Second. Questions, comments? Jackie, please.
Councilmember Parker.
Aye.
Plain.
Aye.
Schroeder.
Aye.
Southall.
Aye.
Marchant.
Aye.
Hewlin.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Next is Parks and Recreation's annual report. Here comes Doug Byland.
It's not.
The remote control needs to be turned on in the back.
There.
All right, Mayor, members of the council, I'm Doug Byland, Parks and Recreation Director. Thanks for having me come out today. Just kind of go over a little bit. You have our report in your packet. I just kind of highlight a few things about what Parks and Recreation did for this year. And I'll just remind everybody, our goal is to enhance and preserve the quality of life for all ages. And even though it's a challenging year, I think we all know why. Thanks to our staff, our partners, our volunteers around the community, we met the challenge. And it was an extremely successful year for our parks. That's kind of why I started with a parks picture. If you're out our parks, you're out our trails, you know that they were busy. There were people having lunch in the middle of the day, coffee in the morning, and they're still doing that. And that was almost 18 months ago. So I think that's testament to the investment that's been made over the generations that our park system has come through and shined like this. even though this just shows a little bit about what our parks has. I'm not going to go through in general, but like I said, it's been busy, and we're going to continue with better. Horticulture is super important. Beautification around the community. I'm not sure. I think everybody knows Buxton Park and Sesquicentennial Park. You can see those every day. But there's so many more flower beds around the community. Medians on Highway 65, 69. They're all over. Once the square gets back to projects finished, then we'll have a lot more beautification up there too. So, but we just want to make sure everybody realizes we have over 1,000 trees we maintain. That takes a lot of work, especially in the wintertime. We did remove 64 ash trees last year. We'll be removing some more yet this winter. But we'll try to replace some other ones of different varieties at the same time. So here's sort of the kind of the sad news, I guess, of our recreation programs, as people couldn't meet together in an event or an activity or so on and so forth. So many of our activities had to be reimagined. We had a lot of virtual things. Had that virtual 5K run up there. We had a lot of family events where people could. Still had our Easter egg hunt. We just took the Easter eggs to everybody, and they could hide them in their backyard or those kind of things. So, and then one thing I didn't think we'd ever do as a recreation person would do a vaccination clinic. We had some of those in activity center. Even though our activity registrations were down, our rentals were down. One thing we did see in 2021 is starting to really rise. Our T-ball registration and flag football registrations were much higher than they had been. Pickard Park, one of John's favorite places a long time ago. Yeah. We had over 2,600 softball games and practices, and that's been the highest since 2016. The revenue was even higher than it was since 2016, so that's good. That's good.
Are you seeing more adults?
Yes and no. I think we're trying to find some other things adults want to do, like bags or other things.
Right.
Too, so not
Gotcha.
necessarily just always adults up.
Right. I knew it's gone way down from what it used
Yeah.
to be, but
It's kind of coming back. Co-ed's bigger than men's. Right
gotcha.
now. So some of our projects, I think we'll just highlight a few things here. And you see the disc golf course, and we all know we had our tournament last year, and we will have that disc golf pro tour coming back again in August. So that's pretty exciting. But we're going to continue to invest, trying to in recreation facilities, so we can keep improving that quality of life. So, and I think probably the most important thing, and Ryan would attest to this, collaboration, right? One of those 4 C's.
One of the 4 C's.
Without all of our community collaboration, our staff, our seasonal staff, that continues to change each year. We have over 20 community partners, over 125 volunteers that help us every year, and 78 sponsors to help all these programs and activities and facilities keep going. Not to mention even all the other city departments, and every single city department I knew, they all help us. And with support from our commission, city council, we'll continue to try to improve quality of life for generations to come. So, anybody has any questions?
I wanted to mention, first of all, the flower beds really are a great demonstration about how we care for our city, and people see that, and that's just wonderful. The other thing is the look in your face in 2020 when you came and told us the pool was, you were absolutely devastated. And it really hurt all of us because you felt so devastated, but you're a lot more upbeat right now. That's good. So,
I think we all are very appreciative of the work you and your staff do to make the quality of life in Indianapolis so much better. So thank you.
I think I told you this when I met you when they first came on, how much I appreciate how the neighborhood parks look so much better. You know, the equipment is great, things are in good shape, they're well maintained, the mowing is nicely done, it's just much better than, yeah, I appreciate that for the kids. And the trails too, love the trails and they're
More.
yeah.
Thank you. Thanks, Doug.
Thanks.
And on to Catch Des Moines annual update. Here comes Greg Edwards. Hi, Greg.
Mayor, how are you? Council, it's a big night for you, some of you. I'll get you out of here early so you can go knock on some more doors.
Don't forget to vote. vote while you're down.
What's that?
Don't forget to vote while you're here.
Already did 4 times.
Yeah. Roll.
Remember
reel.
film strip?
Oh,
Oh,
boy.
boy.
Yeah.
The overhead projector.
Yes, remember that? Real carbon copies.
Mhm. That's how I started.
I like the flip charts
Back in the state.
Thanks, Jackie, for your assistance.
All right, thank you. Sorry for the delay. Speaking of devastation, you ain't seen nothing yet, but congratulations to your Parks Department. We've been kind of in the same boat, and I think I stood before you about a year ago too with some not such great news, and I'll just kind of review some of that stuff with you. I guess it's going to get up. So through the pandemic, so we've been in this thing, what now, a year and a half, I think. We've seen 400 events canceled throughout the metro area, impacting about $333 million in economic impact of losses throughout the whole pandemic scenario. This slide here will show you actually 2019-20 fiscal year was probably the best year we've ever had in our bookings, conventions, sporting events, etc. 388 bookings. The following year, we had 125 bookings. This year, our goal is 220 bookings. We're at 56 right now. So we're on pace to hit that goal. And I'll show you some other stats and things here as we go. Obviously, your CVB is one of the organizations can really re-kickstart this economy. And we've shown that throughout the whole pandemic. And I'll show you some other examples here shortly. But helping out the restaurants and the hotels and attractions and the cultural arts centers and things like that. So, and shopping, obviously, as well. Some review here from our last fiscal year. So we did host 214 conventions, meetings, et cetera, in the metro area. I think I'm getting this mixed up here. 214 of those utilized our resources. 117 of those were actually booked through us because of us. And 125 events were booked into future years, generating another $39.7 million. Some of the major events from this past year, I think you're all familiar with the DO Tour and the great notoriety that gave the Des Moines metro area, especially even during the Olympics. A lot of mentions on that. Hosted our first Ironman last June. World Pork Expo did come off without a hitch. A lot less numbers. They had about 15,000. Normally they have 25 to 30,000. We hosted National Junior High School Rodeo in June. Another huge event, about 1,500 families and rodeo kids in town for that. We also in July hosted the U.S. Youth Soccer President's Cup Championships. And in September, we hosted a big Lions convention. About 3,000 Lions from Canada and all across the United States were here. Interesting group too, because they anticipated having 1,800. I said 3,000. They anticipated having 1,800 people here. They ended up with 1,500, which was still huge. It was one of their largest conventions they'd ever had. They walked away. The group was absolutely phenomenal. I did their opening welcome for them at their banquet. They all had their masks on. 93% of them were vaccinated. I heard that after they left, they had like 3 cases of COVID outbreaks when they got back. So really great group to have in town. This chart here will show you a little bit about hotel motel tax, and we monitor this actually on a weekly basis throughout the whole metro area. The red line is occupancy. So you can see the real downturn last April is when it really hit rock bottom. And then we slightly got up a little bit over about 60 percentile. Then we dipped down, of course, through the winter months and then slowly edged our way up. We really had a strong summer again with all those events that we had in June and July and August. Obviously, the state fair helped tremendously as well. We're now seeing hotel occupancies hovering around 52%. Around the metro, we ought to be at about 72%. So still lacking. But we're, still optimistic that things are going to get better and pick up as we go. Right here in Indianola, we had 9 actual leads that were sent to your area hotels this past year. Some of the stuff that impacted you, AAU Wrestling State Duels hosted at your middle school here. The Iowa Enduro Riders Association, we assisted with that, getting that in here. And your parks guy recognized your disc golf that you had here, and we helped with that as well. We have 32 partners that are actually paid partners in our organization, which we're proud to say that's increased a lot over the years. But we've been doing a lot of, all last year, really the last year and a half, we really strategically looked at how can we keep Des Moines front of mind when people are ready to travel again. So we started doing all kinds of new things. We've got, I think, 30 different little short videos on our website. We started doing this blog thing, kind of eliminated the fact that, just because such and such restaurant is a partner of ours, they still may not have the best burger or tenderloin in town. So we just started promoting what really we felt was the best of the best and started doing these blogs. We featured a lot of your different businesses here in Indy, best ice cream, the Outside Scoop, best trucks in Greater Des Moines, best food trucks, the Outside Scoop. You can see some of the numbers these reached people through our social medias. Best margaritas in Greater Des Moines, La Casa, Greater Des Moines Local Gift Guide, Canoe Sports Outfitters, Best Aquatic Adventure, Lake Aquabi, Best of the Burbs, Simpson College, National Blue Classic, Des Moines Metro Opera, Somerset Winery, Art Adventure, of course, Des Moines Metro Opera located here as well. So really trying to give you guys some promo there. The outlook for the future. So state associations are starting to slowly come back with their conventions and things. Still about half of what they would normally have. The Iowa Library Association was in 2 weeks ago. They would normally have 300 to 400, and they had about 150 people there. So they're slowly coming back. Corporate travel is still the real big downturn for the whole metro. We're seeing very little of the big businesses, the principals, Wells Fargo's, EMC, Nationwide, doing corporate travel just yet. Our RFPs, requests for proposals, are still lagging. A lot of national planners are still hesitant to really start booking things, although we are getting some things booked into the way future, but there's still a lot of hesitancy out there. Really what saved us through, and you saw the list of the groups we've hosted, was either agriculture or sports groups that have really kept us afloat during this pandemic time. The last quarter of this year remains really soft too, and we've already begun to see that with hotel occupancies beginning to dip again. The good news, and on the brighter side, so we do have some great stuff on the books for next year. The USA Swimming is going to do one of their tier series, which is their Olympic series at the YMCA downtown, the Walmart Y downtown. World Pork will be back. State Games of America will be hosting next summer. That's in conjunction with the Ames CVB. So you're familiar with the Iowa Games. This is the State Games of America. So everybody across the country will converge on Central Iowa to participate in numerous mini sports across between Ames and the Des Moines Metro. Farm Progress Show is also scheduled to be back here again next August, which is huge. We're going to host the NAIA Men's Volleyball Championships. That's going to be at the new West Des Moines Mid-American Recplex. IndyCar Series, you probably saw that. That's going to be on the books again for the Newton Iowa Speedway. USA Gymnastics Championship. We have a big USA Gymnastics Championship One of the biggies, Ironman, you probably saw that. They just announced that Des Moines will be their North American Championship full Ironman next year. We did a half last time. So we're really, really thrilled with that. Nursing Organizations Alliance, that's an interesting group. I'm just going to hit it just a little bit. This is a group of all the nursing organizations. So operating room nurses, maternity room nurses, et cetera, et cetera. There's probably 200 different nurse organizations. But then they all in turn belong to the NOA, the Nursing Organizations Association. So we're hosting them next year, which is a great opportunity to showcase again the Des Moines area to all these different niche markets of nursing, which that will hopefully then in turn to some future meetings and conventions and what have you. Then you see some ag groups again, American Meat Science, American Association of Meat Processors, ASHTO, you guys all know what that stands for, right? American Association of State Highway Transportation Organizations. Got it? Okay. And I know Mr. March's favorite group will be back, the American Quilters Association. Right on.
Thank you.
Still a lot of stuff in the works. 73 different leads are out there right now. We got 450 plus qualified prospects on the book. So we're in pretty good shape once people start booking once again. Talked a little bit about our strategies, some of the stuff we've implemented. We're starting to do a lot of trips, going into DC a lot, calling on the National Association market there with our different sales teams. Just traveled to Orlando a couple weeks ago to the AAU convention. We'll host the AAU Junior Olympic Games in 2023. So keeping those relationships strong. Doing some sales trips in Chicago. Working really on high-end markets like medical and nursing market, dietary, et cetera. Marketing wise, talked a little bit about our blogs and our video broadcasts. A lot of different initiatives we've been offering to meeting planners and national sports planners and stuff like that as we go to as well. Just a couple highlights on, I'm sure you guys are familiar with a lot of the new stuff that's happening in the Metro, which is all great for us. Of course, the Lordson Skate Park, Mid-American Energy Recplex, the Grimes new entertainment soccer facility they're building out in Grimes, 13 soccer fields. Central Iowa Water Trails continues to get a lot of legs and money coming in very strongly for that project. The Bucks Arena at Merle Hay Mall is happening. The USL Soccer Stadium is probably going to happen. They've already cleared the DICO site and things are moving forward there. The Des Moines Public Schools Drake Stadium, they're putting that out again for another bid here in the next couple of weeks. So I think we'll see that coming on board in the next couple of weeks. And then Johnston, you probably saw that announcement. They're going to build a new indoor sports complex there in Johnston too, which will be pretty cool because it'll give us another dimension of the full size track, indoor track and field facilities. With that, I'm happy. Who's ringing, by the way? Is that my wife or yours?
Your arm went off.
Oh, that was it. Okay, thank you very much. Happy to answer any questions or take any comments.
Looks like it's coming back. Great.
Slowly but surely.
Appreciate the efforts.
Yep. Thank you.
Are we still gaining events because of other areas being still closed down?
We do. We did gain a couple events last summer. In July, we gained a couple events out of Minneapolis. One was a big ethanol convention. The other was another ag-related show. Came out of Minneapolis because of some of the unrest they were having up in that city. We've seen other sports events. Big basketball tournament that we hosted in July, the Nike Tournament of Champions, came out of Chicago. Some of the Illinois stuff moved over here because they were restricted to what they could do over there. So
We'll get any more of those?
I don't know. We
Some
haven't
of them
seen
pull
much
back?
of that
Okay.
recently, but we got our eye on it.
Yeah.
I want to wish this young man all the best. He's going to a great city, although we hate Cedar Rapids, or excuse me. Cedar Rapids. Don't be stealing any of our stuff over there. But really, I think you guys all know Ryan's been a great guy. You guys have been a great council to work with. Ryan's been a great leader for you. We're gonna miss you, but we know you'll do well in Marion. So best of luck to you and your family. And best of luck to all of you that are up for reelection tomorrow, and those of you that are retiring. God bless you.
God bless us.
Oh, God bless. Oh, you're one of those too. Lucky dogs. Or I mean, God bless you. Thank you all.
Thank you.
That's great.
We appreciate it. All right. On to Mayor's report, community update. Just want to do a little shout out to our friends at Parks and Rec for a great little Halloween costume party on the square on Saturday. I know some of our council members were there. And then another shout out to our friends at the library for a great little Halloween event. 5 of us were able to hand out lots of candy. It's great fun. Also just want to remind, as Greg just said, tomorrow is election day for school board and for city council and mayoral positions. So please get out and vote. Regular polling places, 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. And that's all I got for you tonight, other than a proclamation declaring November 11th, 2021 as Veterans Day. Kind of important day in my book. I have some military in my family. Whereas the United States Congress, by an act approved on June 1st, 1954, set November 11th as Veterans Day. And whereas Veterans Day is a time to celebrate all United States military veterans and honor their sacrifices, patriotism, and willingness to serve. And whereas this day shall also be a time to perpetuate peace through goodwill and mutual understanding among all people. And whereas many veterans in our community have chosen to continue serving by working for and volunteering in the city of Indianola. Absolutely. And whereas the patriotism of military personnel who have defended our great nation will forever serve as an inspiration for generations to come. And whereas now, therefore, in honor of veterans in our community, I, Pam Pepper, Mayor of the City of Indianola, Iowa, do hereby proclaim Thursday, November 11th, 2021 as Veterans Day in the City of Indianola, and urge all citizens to remember and pay homage to our active and inactive military community for their contributions, dedication, and commitment to the cause of our freedom. The City of Indianola proudly joins the rest of our community and nation to salute and give special thanks and recognition to the men and women who have served in our armed forces. In witness whereof, I hereunto set my hand and seal this first day of November 2021. Thank you to all of our veterans. All right, on to, so then we need to continue to a date at a certain time, in consideration of appointments to the Human Relations Commission.
So moved.
Second.
Doug, did you have anything to add to that?
What date do you want us to do it to?
Well, if it has to go before executive committee first,
So
before coming
we're probably looking
here,
at the first meeting in December.
That'd be my
Or do you think we can get it?
that's probably the earliest.
12.
right?
Probably so.
We're moving it to December 6th. Let me just confirm that is, yes, you're right. Perfect. All right, to December 6th. Other comments, questions? Is that a roll call?
Oh, let's have one.
Okay, I agree. Let's go, Jackie.
Councilmember Kling,
Aye.
Schroeder. Aye. Southall,
Aye.
Marchant,
Aye.
Hewlin,
Aye.
Parker.
Aye.
Motion carries. Perfect. Thank you. Public considerations next, old business, Iowa paving project. First up is approval of payment application number 5 to Vanderpool Construction for the East Iowa Avenue paving project in the amount not to exceed $13,320.52. Move to approve.
Second.
Anything we need to discuss? Questions, comments?
This is, we will have some retainage left on this project just for, there's other things that are open that we see as part of the warranty period or just it's normal, of course, normal part of a project. So.
Jackie, please.
Councilmember Southall,
Aye.
Marchant,
Aye.
Hewlin,
Aye.
Parker,
Aye.
Kling,
Aye.
Schroeder.
Aye.
Motion carries. Next item is a resolution accepting the East Iowa paving project.
So moved.
Second.
Questions, comments?
It really is nice.
It is nice. I
It's
will
just-
agree with
yeah,
you. I've
It's
been on
amazing.
several.
Not a long section, but it's
That's-
just, it's
yeah.
nice to have, so.
And I'm sure for the employees that ride that daily.
Yes.
They're appreciating, and the homeowners that are down there as well.
I'm sure a lot of them would like to have it go a little further, but.
Exactly. Jackie, please.
Councilmember Clayton,
Aye.
Schroeder.
Aye.
Southall,
Aye.
Marchant,
Aye.
Hewlin,
Aye.
Parker.
Aye.
Motion carries. We need a resolution ordering preparation of the final plat and schedule of assessments for the East Iowa Avenue paving project.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, questions, comments? Jackie, please.
Councilmember Schroeder,
Aye.
Southall,
Aye.
Marchant,
Aye.
Hewlin,
Aye.
Parker,
Aye.
Clayton.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Mayor, I think AP's on the Zoom. If I understand correctly, item A1D is not, this one should be tabled to the next meter or sorry.
Continue to.
Councilmember Southall,
Aye.
Marchant,
Aye.
Hewlin,
Aye.
Parker,
Aye.
Clayton,
Aye.
Schroeder.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, Brian, for helping us out with that. Next one is vacation and conveyance of an alley. First one is a public hearing regarding the request from JK Management LLC for a right of way, I can't talk tonight, vacation and conveyance of the portion of the north-south alley that lies west of lots 15 and 16 of the plat of Jones and Windle's addition to Indianola, Warren County, Iowa.
Motion to go on to public hearing.
Second.
Okay, Jackie?
Councilmember Hewlin,
Aye.
Parker,
Aye.
Clayton,
Aye.
Schroeder,
Aye.
Southall,
Aye.
Marchant.
Aye.
Motion carries. We are now in a public hearing and we'll start with Charlie. Hi,
Mayor, members, council, Charlie DeSalle, Community and Economic Development Director. Justin Kappelman of JK Management is requesting this alley vacation. You can see on the screen there in that kind of red hashed out area, which would be just north of South Freeman Street between Highway 92 and West First Avenue. The three other adjacent property owners have all agreed to the vacation. Reason this was requested mainly was there is a shed that Mr. Kappelman was looking to put up that did not meet the current side setback for the alley. By vacating the alley, he will meet that setback. However, in an effort to get the shed up sooner than later, he did also request for a variance. That variance was granted at the last Board of Adjustment meeting in October. So just want to make sure council is aware of that. The other things to add, I think Mr. Kappelman does intend to provide for access easements to all adjoining property owners. So it's not going to be something where the adjoining property owner owns half of it and people are fighting over anything. They will have access easements granted to there. There are also public utilities within this alley. So before third consideration of this ordinance, we will have a public utility easement that the city will essentially grant to themselves prior to us giving up the alley. So any questions beyond that, I'd be happy to answer them. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else here wishing to speak during this public hearing? So please come forward. Seeing none, hearing none.
Motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
Okay. Jackie?
Councilmember Hewlin,
Aye.
Parker,
Aye.
Clayton,
Aye.
Schroeder,
Aye.
Southall,
Aye.
Marchant.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right. First consideration of an ordinance regarding a request from JK Management LLC for a right-of-way vacation and conveyance of a portion of the north-south alley that lies west of lots 15 and 16 of the plat of Jones and Windle's addition to Indianola, Warren County, Iowa.
Move as read.
Second.
Okay, questions, comments? Please.
Councilmember Clayton,
Aye.
Schroeder,
Aye.
Southall,
Aye.
Marchant,
Aye.
Hewlin,
Aye.
Parker.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. On to new business. First one is approval of ordinance amendments due to state of Iowa legislative changes. The thought was here that these are things we have to do. So to do them all in one motion. we can do that if you are so inclined, and then I will read them. And then also, we're recommending possibly waiving the second and third readings because we have to make these changes. So.
Makes sense.
Makes
sense, yeah.
Okay, so do you want me to read them how about I'll read them as a motion. I need a motion for first consideration of an ordinance amending the code of ordinances of the city of Indianola by adding provisions pertaining to failure to assist, by amending provisions pertaining to interferences with official acts, by amending provisions pertaining to peddlers, solicitors, and transient merchants, by amending provisions pertaining to public disorder, by amending provisions pertaining to low-speed electric bicycles and fully controlled access facilities, by amending provisions pertaining to abandoned vehicles, by amending provisions pertaining to alcoholic beverage control, and by amending provisions pertaining to elections.
Motion to approve.
I'll second it, but just clarification, you said amending provisions for pertaining to low speed, it's adding. So just wanted, I didn't know if that made a difference or not.
The first one was adding, the rest are amending, correct? Yep. Thank you. A couple of them are amending,
Yeah.
adding, sorry.
Yeah, for the electric bicycles one, you said amending, but it is adding. I just
Yeah.
want to make sure that that was noted.
Thank you.
I assumed that was what you meant.
Yes, thank you. And then do you want to amend your motion to say, or do we want to waive second and third in a separate motion?
Yes.
That's it.
Separate motion, okay. Questions and comments on the motion then? Jackie, please.
Councilmember Hewlin,
Aye.
Parker,
Aye.
Kling,
Aye.
Schroeder,
Aye.
Southall,
Aye.
Marchant.
Aye.
Motion carries.
I move that we waive the second, third readings of all these ordinances.
Okay,
Second.
all right. Questions, comments? Jackie, please.
Councilmember Hewlin,
Aye.
Parker,
Aye.
Kling,
Aye.
Schroeder,
Aye.
Southall,
Aye.
Marchant.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Next up is a resolution adopting council policy for hotel motel tax funding for community and external organizations.
I so move.
Second.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm just.
I know, listen to
And then Andy's here to talk about it.
Mayor, members of council, we've been advised by our auditor, Robert Andrus of Denman and Company, and we also heard that the state auditors take a closer look at all expenditures that cities throughout Iowa do, making sure that they're tied to a public purpose, which we always do anyway. And also, council had directed the staff earlier to come up with policy to better address the money that we receive through hotel motel tax, that the council makes a decision on contributing to civic organizations. So in reviewing this, we discussed and we drafted this policy and application that's in your packet this evening on meeting those two objectives. Happy to take any questions.
Questions for Andy? Thank you.
Bless you.
Okay, yes.
I think it was really well laid out, though, as
Yes.
far as
Yeah.
organizations. And part of our concern was people just asking for a big number with no real
Right.
stated purpose, and this is a lot more defining. So I commend you for putting it together. I think it's great.
Yeah, like clarity in it. That's it.
Jackie?
Councilmember Kling,
Aye.
Schroeder,
Aye.
Southall, Marchant,
Aye.
Hewlin,
Aye.
Parker.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Next up is resolution amending the snow and ice removal policy to add snow routes.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay.
AP will be addressing this.
Oh, you're not gonna do it?
Mayor and Council, this is AP, Public Works Director. What you have is an amendment to the snow and ice removal policy. This policy has been adopted into 2018 and has been presented to you on an annual basis whenever an update is needed or whenever we need to make any changes. In this case, we have updated our snow routes to reflect the roadways that we have adopted, or for subdivisions, the new roadways that we have acquired, and also to make any changes to the equipment. We just made a small minor change to our equipment list that we use for our snow removal. So these are the major two changes that has been presented in your packet for the snow and ice removal policy. With that, I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Questions for AP? Good to know we're gonna remove the snow this winter. It's always comforting.
Don't mention that word.
All right, Jackie, please.
Councilmember Hewlin,
Aye.
Parker,
Aye.
Kling,
Aye.
Schroeder,
Aye.
Southall,
Aye.
Marchant.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, AP. Next item on the agenda is other business. First up, city manager's report. Ryan Waller.
Thank you, Mayor. Do we have the other stuff up there? So that, the precinct, thank you. I would, okay. As part of the census process, the state and other units of government will go through and update their various different districts. The state legislature approved the redistricting maps last week. Those will go into effect beginning for the 22 elections. We've got a process that we have to follow. Once that is done, fortunately, our staff, Jackie and Charlie and Andy, had already started working on what that would look like. That's thanks to some resources that the state has out there for us. So they went ahead, they worked on some minor revisions to the map, and the goal of that is to make sure that there's roughly an equal population within the different wards in our community. So the state law lays that out. So we wanted to make sure you're aware. At the next meeting, you'll have to set a public hearing. And then at that public hearing, they'll present the maps. It's pretty perfunctory, but kudos to Jackie and Charlie and Andy for the work that they did on that.
Questions about that?
Good deal.
Thank you.
So there's that, and then we'll put something in the weekly email, but as you know, staff has been working on the budget, and Andy was trying to get some information from folks as we continue our projections and the modeling that we do. And Andy shared with us earlier today, it's not the news you wanted or expected, but it looks like the rollback percentages are actually going down. So with the rollback percentages going down, as well as the multifamily residential changes that were made in the state legislature that take effect January 1st of this coming year, that's going to be a significant hit to pretty much all communities, really. So there'll be some tough decisions in the upcoming budget year.
Very unfortunate.
I don't mean to share bleak news, but it's news that needs to be shared.
Absolutely. Anything else?
Just receive and file correspondence.
Council?
Motion to receive and file city manager's correspondence.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Ryan?
Mayor, the executive session that we have scheduled for item 9B, we do not need. We will just need 9C. And then for those viewing audience or those in attendance here, there will be no action taken after you come out of executive session. So the recording will cease once you go into executive session.
Because after that, after closed session, it is we are just adjourned.
Correct.
Okay. So.
Motion to go into closed session.
Second.
Get the words out of my mouth. Okay, let's just double check that they know in accordance with Iowa Code Section 21.51I, evaluate professional competency of an individual whose appointment, hiring, performance, or discharge is being considered when necessary to prevent needless and irreparable injury to that individual's reputation, and that individual requests a closed session. Jackie, please.
Councilmember Hewlin,
Aye.
Parker,
Aye.
Kling,
Aye.
Schroeder,
Aye.
Southall,
Aye.
Marchant.
Aye.
Motion carries. We're now going into a closed session. Thank you all for being here tonight. We appreciate it.